There's a long way before the whole world complies with the WHO guidelines for air quality. But the enormous burden of disease from outdoor air pollution forces us to increase action to come as far as possible. There's a lot we can improve at global, international, national, city, and individual level. Most of the actions to reduce air pollution also mitigate climate change and promote health in other ways. There are many win-win and win-win-win situations. We can effectively reduce air pollution and mitigate climate change if we implement international regulation and national policies that promote use of less energy and more efficient use of the energy, insulate buildings and heat them by heat exchange, production of green energy by renewables such as wind and solar power, reduction of energy production and industrial production based on combustion of fossil and especially dirty fuels such as coal and biomass, reduction of emission from industry and agriculture, active transport, public transport and low-emission vehicles, especially powered by electric engines, and regulation of combustion-based vehicles with strict standards for emission control and limited entry to populated areas. Cities have a special obligation and opportunity to be more energy efficient and healthy to live in. More than half of the world population live in urban areas now. In 2050, the United Nations has projected that 2/3 will live in urban areas, many in large and megacities. With the right urban development, we can live more densely and efficiently with respect to use of energy for heating and transport and other resources. High density and compact cities can mitigate emissions by encouraging public transit. Compact cities can facilitate active transport because it's possible to walk or bike the short distances. It can reduce traffic accidents and discourage individual motor vehicle transport by limiting parking supply. Dense cities can offer more easy access to health services, social interactions, cultural offers, hygienic housing, healthy and clean food, safety, and so on. But we need to plan the cities so that emissions and exposure to air pollutants are really reduced. The sources of air pollution that need to be curbed first are different from one city to another. In Mumbai in India, road dust, power plants, bakeries, open burning and construction sites may contribute more to air pollution than road traffic, which dominates in many high-income countries. Easily accessible green space is of utmost importance for healthy urban development. This can be public parks with grass fields and forests that provide areas for diverse recreational activities, woodlands, private gardens, urban farms, children's play areas, riverside footpaths, beaches, and many others. Green spaces facilitate physical activity and social interactions of great health benefits. Green space can diminish heat stress by shade or green roofs and walls and absorb less heat than black tarmac. Green space can absorb stormwater. Green space can reduce exposure to air pollution by providing distance to sources, and low hedges in particular appear relatively effective in reducing air pollution. Green space can provide room for biodiversity beneficial for immune regulation. Urban farming can provide green space as well as fresh, healthy food, social relations, and exercise. Active transport by walking or biking is a very efficient way of achieving some or all the exercise required for health. So it's really a win-win-win. You become more healthy, you reduce climate impact and air pollution, and you require less in terms of infrastructure for car lanes, parking areas, and to some extent public transport. In a population study from Copenhagen, mortality was 28% lower among biking commuters. In 2014, 73% of all commuting to work and education in Copenhagen was done by active transport. This high number is due to an infrastructure optimizing biking by extensive networks of bike lanes, priority to bikes in traffic, and so on. But you might ask, is it really healthy if I bike or exercise in a city with polluted air? When I exercise, I breathe more and inhale more of the pollutants. Isn't that harmful? Fortunately, several studies have shown that the positive health effects with reduced mortality and risk of disease is still found even in people living in more polluted areas when compared to people living in clean areas. In the most polluted cities in the world, long-lasting exercise outdoors is not beneficial to health. But except for the few worst days of pollution, commuting by biking or walking will be beneficial compared to, for instance, driving a car or motorbike. In cities with 60 to 100 microgram PM2.5 per meter cubed, you can still bike for hours before the effects of air pollution outweigh the health benefits. If the pollution levels are higher, the tipping point is lower. When you are biking, walking, or exercising in urban areas, it's still wise to choose the least polluted route, and perhaps time of the day if your city has bad rush hours. Right now, my colleague is measuring pollution levels in the Copenhagen morning traffic.
Right now we are standing on one of the most busy streets in Copenhagen. It's early morning and rush hour. And you can see that there's a lot of cars on this street. There's a red light in that direction and a stop signal in the other direction. It means that the cars are moving very slowly or they are standing still. This gives rise to very high concentrations of ultrafine particles. For instance, right now, the particle number concentration is 27,000 ultrafine particles per cubic centimeter. The particle number concentration on this side of the street is rather low because we have a lake over here, so there are no cars. And the particles are being transported from this side because of the wind is directing from that side to that side. Right now, the particle number concentration is around 7,000 per cubic centimeter.
There are many apps and websites that show air pollution levels in real time and in specific locations in cities all over the world. They can be of great help to you when you choose when and where to commute actively, exercise, and when to open windows to ventilate your home. On the worst of days, in the worst of cities, a breathing mask that filters away the particulates can help you through. To sum up, we need to curb air pollution with actions at global, international, national, city, and individual level. Most of the actions to reduce air pollution also mitigate climate change and promote health. Cities can have a central role by transforming towards sustainability and livability for the majority of the world population. So there's a great responsibility for urban planners, and there is a role for you too. This will contribute importantly to Sustainable Development Goal number 3, good health and well-being, 7, affordable and clean energy, number 11, sustainable cities and community, and number 13, climate action.